The views expressed and the opinions given by the individual host and their guests do not necessarily reflect those of Para X, its affiliates, or its sponsors.
It's coming.
All these voices. All these voices.
They're mine. They're not yours. You had no right to them when you were alive, and you have no right to them when you're dead. You say Hershey. That's what it sounded like. Good, so you know who I am. And then you know I'm not playing. You're going to let those women go. In Jesus' name, you're going to let those women go.
Is there a demon here watching us right now? Watching us right now.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Staring Into the Abyss. I am your host, horror author James Hershey Jr., and with me, as always, my co-host, old boy James Ash. How you doing, brother?
Good evening, misfit sugar ladies, monster lovers, demon hunters. How's your fucking night?
All right, this week is old boy's pick again. So on this week's episode, I think we're going to be talking about the psychology of horror movies or evil characters in movies and TV and stuff like that. Something along those lines. He'll explain it a little bit better to you. So without further ado, oh boy, go ahead, brother.
So today's show is going to be very interesting. It's going to be about vigilantes, horror icons, dark characters, evil characters, but they're very popular, and why, and the psychology on it, and why so many people love these beloved characters, but a lot of them are fucked up. Here's where we're going to start. My favorite horror movie series is The Evil Dead. Ash, you guys know, the coolest thing is, just so you know, I got Ash right there. It's my last name, but my name is Ash, my last name. Ash from Evil Dead. He wasn't an evil character, even though that there was an evil Ash that came off of his body. If you guys see the movie, you know what I'm talking about. He was a darker character, scumbag, kind of like, well, he ended up becoming that. He was a smart ass. He ended up becoming sarcastically heroic, but he was kind of a dark character, dark world, dark universe, kind of a vigilante, kind of like the Punisher. You guys seen the Punisher, the comic books, the movies. He ain't no fucking joke. He doesn't just kill innocent people, but he kills the bad. And he's a vigilante because they want to kill him. The police, everybody does. They want him in the jail. But he kills people in horrible ways. But one of the movies was called The Punisher Wars. And he was killing somebody, and the lady, I guess he killed one of the lady's family members accidentally that was just in crossfire. And like she said, who punishes you? You killed somebody that was innocent over something that had nothing to do with them. And there's a point to that. Kind of like Justice League, where Superman, most people think he's a hero, but some people, he killed people because, not for purpose, but defending the earth and not paying attention, throwing things. When you're Superman, you can do what you want, and he went bad at that time because he forgot who he was when he came back from, he died. He came back. Wolverine. Vigilante originally was bad when he was Weapon X because he lost his memory. You guys seen that character, and that's one of my favorite characters, the Wolverine character. Old Man Logan is fucking... The movie didn't do it any justice because at the time they still weren't owned by Marvel. It would have been such a great movie if they could have done it like the comic books, where the Hulk is a mutated asshole who he has mutated kids and they're killing and eating people. They're cannibals and they're just crazy. And what they do is they're like a gang, so you have to pay them, but they'll make up certain things to say you owe money, or if you didn't, they'll just kill you. Well, the Hulk ate Wolverine, and then Wolverine, his powers, he killed the Hulk from inside. He came back together and fucking killed him. Again, that's that universe. You guys, all the heroes are dead except like one or two of them. Wolverine and Doctor Doom in the villain zone. It's a pretty cool story, like we're saying. And The Crow, I mean, the Gothic novel is the movie. The first one's better. The other ones I don't like. City of Angels are. I know they're gonna remake it. I don't know how I feel. Brandon Lee was meant for that part. He died in that part. He died during the movie. He accidentally got killed. There's some people say it's cursed, but that character was a dark character coming back for revenge. One of my favorite characters is Darth Vader. Originally was good, and then he went, what Vader did. A lot of people like Darth Vader. I like Darth Vader. Anakin Skywalker, But everybody likes Vader, but Vader was fucking vicious. He went and killed the Panamite kids. I mean, and killed them all. And, you guys seen Attack of the Clones, talks about that. That's where Dooku comes in, Baby Yoda. Yeah, Vader look what he did to the Tusken Raiders. He killed even the kids. He didn't care. He didn't give a fuck. He just killed people. But people loved that character, just like Darth Maul. He was hardly in the movie, and he got killed, and then he came back to life. I guess when he fell down, he got... See, people realize Jedi's just like Mace Windu and the dark side. Even Mace Windu supposedly came back. He didn't die, even though they showed it he died. He got robotic arms, but that's in the cartoon world, going off the movies. But Darth Maul was fucking badass, dude. He looks like the devil, bro. And double-bladed lightsaber was fucking tight. One of my favorite characters, even though he didn't get a lot in the movies. Love that character. It was just chaos. Love that fucking character. And a lot of people do. Again, a dark character. The Joker. There's an argument who's the best Joker. Jack Nicholson played a crazy-ass cool Joker back in the day in the 90s. 89, 90. I forget one of the two. Heath Ledger, my opinion, is the best Joker because he played it to a T, how you were supposed to. And Joaquin Phoenix, I love his character. If Joker was in a real world, that's how the Joker would be. And I know they're making a part 2 with him and Lady Gaga. I can't wait to see that. As she's going to play Harvey Quinn. We'll see how that goes. I'm waiting for that movie. I actually like that movie. If you guys understood it, he wasn't really bad, but he got turned into being bad. And what other guys I'm going to say that are very popular, that are very dark? Oh, okay. Michael Myers. Women love him. Guys like him. Everybody does. And a lot of women, that's the popular guy right now. Michael Myers is one of the most popular. Fucking vicious killer. People like him. I don't know why, but people do. And I think he's cool. But there's that psychology. Why do people like him? I think he's badass, dude. There's nothing like him. I mean, I know there's other killers, again, Jason Voorhees. But is Jason really a bad guy? Because he died now, negligence. But now he came back later on and just started murdering and killing people all the time. The first part, I don't believe. His mom kind of got revenge. She wasn't really a bad person. She was just getting revenge. Now she was killing innocent people after it. She just got the original people. But she kept going and going, and then Jason came. And Jason, he's so popular. He's just like fucking... Somebody explain Jason Voorhees. At the time, and now he's not, you don't see too many, them making remakes of him. Massive, Megalodon. Basically, if there was a human Megalodon, he just fucking kills and can't be stopped. He can, but it's very hard. He comes back most of the time. I know you guys have probably seen the movies. And the weird thing is, I like Halloween movies better, but I love Jason Voorhees. I just think he's that's a killer, man. Michael Myers is awesome, too. Another character, Freddy Krueger. Everybody loves this character, man, and he was a fucking child pedophile killer. And then they said the remake, he was just a child killer. They kept going and he was in it. But in the original one, he was a child killer. And I think he was a pedophile, too. And people love him still. I don't like the Freddy Krueger movies. And I like a couple of them. But there's just never been my favorite character. And I'll tell you who is in a couple minutes. I never really cared for Freddy. Don't get me wrong, Robert Englund was awesome. The remake was stupid. Jason vs. Freddy was awesome. Was my cool movie. One of my favorites with Freddy in it. Dream Warriors Part 3 was great. I love that one. And the original one was great. But it's just, not one of my favorites, but people love him. He's got a cool glove. You know, the knife on the one hand, and he comes into dreams, and he's fucking funny when he kills people. He talks shit. And he does it in weird ways and crazy ways, and it's kind of cool. But it's just not one of my favorite characters. Now, one of my favorite characters that people love is Hellraiser, Pinhead. Fucking Pinhead is a hellspawn priest, and hell, Cenobite, leader of the Cenobites. I love that character. I love Clive Barker anyway. His mind is like mind fucked. And in the 80s didn't do justice, because I think he would have made these movies would have been different. I don't know if people would have liked them all, but I just think Pinhead's such a unique character. And I always liked him. Some of the sayings he said. But the chains, the whole goth kind of look with the weird looking demons, always one of my favorite characters. And people love that character. Love the, you know, the box and it turns into different shapes. And people love the character for some reason. And it's evil as fuck. It kills people, murders anybody it messes with that tries to open the box with. And then they made the remake with a female, and that was cool too. That was just digging it, something different, you know. Nothing wrong with that. Cool. Pinhead's Pinhead to me. It could be demons, could be anything. Remember that. People got to realize that. But a loved character. But not the best. Deadpool, technically, was a bad guy, went good, bad, whatever you want to call. Even some universes, he killed everyone he had to. Vigilante's kind of immortal sometimes. I don't know. He's a fucking crazy character. I love Ryan Reynolds was meant for that character. If you ever read the original comics, they talk about him. He was always meant to be, because they saw that Blade movie where he was kind of like that character before he turned into Deadpool. And if you saw, unfortunately, Wolverine, the Origins movie, he was in it, and it was pretty bad. And then they made the Deadpool movies, and we all know what happens. They're making part 3 with him and Wolverine. But people love that character, and he fucking kills people. Even before, he was a bad person before he became Deadpool. You know, I know it was like a fucking bounty hunter with Weapon X and Omega Red and all them, and Alpha Flight. I know Wolverine was involved with all them, and, you know, that's what they did. And Sabretooth, you know, they went around killing people. And another one, Sabretooth, he ended up becoming good, but he was always bad. And he killed people, but people liked him. Not as bad as Wolverine, but people liked him. Magneto, he was bad because he kind of got forced, but then he ended up becoming the leader of the X-Men. He kind of changed, but he originally was he's more of a vigilante. He's a pretty cool character. But people like him. Just like Thanos, fucking asshole, dude, and doesn't care and wants to rule the world and to see the other part of it destroyed. And people like him. Kind of weird. But not really. I see why. I'll get into the dark character thing in a minute. I'm just going through kind of Mad Max. Same kind of vigilante, was a cop, but he kind of went off the wall, kind of just fucking killing people in his way. Not bad people, but, you know, he just kind of turned into a outlawish kind of vigilante, kind of like Billy the Kid. Another one of my favorite movies. And then Art the Clown, the Terrifier. If you've seen those movies, the second one's fucked. I mean, the first one's great, but the second one's fucked. If you're not ready for it, it's going to catch you off guard. I know he's going to make the third one even worse. And All Hallows Eve's where he came from. It was a short, a movie like an hour and a half long. It had short stories, and he was one of them. And he came from a short story, like a 15-minute short film, like 10 years ago, and that's how they came up with the character. But that guy's he kills people in fucked up ways. Especially, he's just brutal. I can't say some of the stuff because, it's out there, but he's a fucked up, crazy clown. Comes back to life in fucked up ways and sick, fucked up things he does to people. It's kind of cool. I like it. But people like the character. Why? I'll get into that in a minute. I enjoy these characters. I like dark characters. I like vigilantes. I've never been a big hero lover. Maybe when I was a kid, but I like Skeletor and I like Cobra Commander. I like Optimus Prime because I think Optimus Prime was pretty cool. Yeah, he was a leader, kind of good, but he did what he had to do. And good or not, he'd fuck you up. Kind of like Godzilla, he could be good or bad. Like The Undertaker. Everybody likes that character. And we'll get into Bray Wyatt probably in a minute. The Undertaker's character, fucking, I love it. It was good, bad, but it all represented death and hell, and, you know. Bray Wyatt's character was absolutely ingenious. Something different, the whole Fiend. It was chaos, and he made it perfect. If you guys understand that, some people will. That I'm very so saddened from his death. One of my favorite wrestlers of all time. I enjoyed him, and he made sense to most people who liked him, and some people who you don't. You kind of, oh, this is, if you have to get him. He was playing a serial killer / horror movie wrestler. With the twist, and it was just something different. And a lot of people, he played that character perfectly. It didn't matter if he was good or bad. He got cheered, just like the Undertaker. Doesn't matter if he's good or bad. People like him. Doesn't matter. It's not going to ruin his career. Just fucking badass. Batman is good, but he's not. If you think about it, he's kind of a vigilante. The cops didn't like him for a while. He did some stuff. But he's not, he doesn't kill people. I mean, I know he had to, but he tries not to. He's kind of like Judge Dredd. Judge Dredd was kind of a cop, but he'd kill you. But he could kill you because he's a judge / cops. So he can just kill you, and he did. Cool character. Another one. Swamp Thing, another one. He could be good or bad, but most of the time he was kind of like a vigilante, and he was almost impossible. If he was in water or swamp, you couldn't kill him. I think the thing is why people like these characters so much, because they're so off the wall, they're so crazy. Some of us visualize if we were bad or we're in that middle, that we could be like that. The Joker's character is psychology, is chaos, but controlled, but not. And I know that's going to sound crazy, but like he said, I'm going to go by Heath Ledger. He just wants to see the world burn. He doesn't care if money means nothing. He just burn it. He just wants to see the world blow up, and that's it. He doesn't care. Now, the other Joker, Joaquin Phoenix, that's a whole different story. He got pushed around, made fun of because he had a laughing problem. And according to some of the stories, that he might have been related to Bruce Wayne. That could be some truth to that. And it would make sense why Batman's one way and he's the other. Good versus bad is what it is. The Joker is insanity, but with controlled chaos, but not. He can control it to a point, but he can't stop. He can't stop destroying. He's just too addicted to it. It's like a drug. You don't care. You don't care who you hurt. You just fucking want to see the world burn. He was kind of like, he had it. He was tired of people pushing him around. He just had it from that movie. And I get it. Kind of like that way, man. I used to be, when I was a kid, I'm going to tell you a little bit about me, and then you'll understand me better. There was a lot of times in my life, I used to be a really heavy set kid. I'm not skinny now, but I'm not what I was. And I got pushed around, beat up till I got in high school and learned how to fight, and I started taking care of business. And since then, I can take care of business, trust me. I know some martial arts, wrestling, fighting, I can do it. And I'm not bragging it, and so can James. James is a fucking 3rd or 4th, 5th degree black belt in Kung Fu. A lot of people don't realize James ain't no motherfucking person to bug. I'm a big guy. I'm 6 foot, 230, 232. James is about 280, 6'5". He's huge. Big fucking dude. And I'm a decent sized guy. He fucking towers over me, guys. And I'm a big dude. Look, bro. I'm not a small guy. I just tell you that. I'm not big either. I used to be 300 pounds almost, and now I'm 232, 231, somewhere around there. And I had to get back. I probably need to go back because I've probably gained like 10 pounds. I usually weigh around 225, 220. But, no big deal. The beard. Some of the reason why I'm the way I am is because of stuff that happened to me in my past. I had a dark past. And some of these characters helped me out of holes that I was in. And you're going to understand why. No. Because there's always going to be a side of you when you got picked on, you want to be like that. A fucking hero doesn't come along. That's why people, why do you like Batman over Superman? The reason I like Batman is because Batman can be a reality, Superman isn't. When you're a god, pretty much, you're never going to really know what a human's going to feel. Batman does. That's why I've always liked Batman better. I think Superman's cool, whatever, but I'm just not into it. Now, there's some characters I actually like, you know, like Wolverine. He's kind of like immortal because he has got that because he was given something. He wasn't born with, but he's born with a healing factor. That's not true. He was mutant, but he got, you know, a mutant with upgrade. You know, the metal in the claws, but he already had the claws. They just got adamantium. It's hard for me to say the word. You know, the blades for the and Pinhead just hits home because some of us have dark thoughts when we were younger and still do. And I'm not saying I want anybody to get hurt but I'm into that kind, that dark kind of like horror is pretty cool. I like the comic books, the movies. Just like, I don't know if you guys seen Event Horizon. A lot of if you've seen the uncut version, it's so different from the rated. And they said it's probably, some people think that he was kind of making that off the Hellraiser series. There's an argument. Is it part of it? What do they call it? Undocumented, but it's the part of it. And if you think about it, kind of does, because that's how hell would be, but it's just a different part of hell. If you guys seen Cabin in the Woods, it explains all that, why they keep coming back. Some people think that he was kind of making that off the Hellraiser series. There's an argument. Is it part of it? What do they call it? Undocumented, but it's the part of it. And if you think about it, kind of does, because that's how hell would be, but it's just a different part of hell. If you guys seen Cabin in the Woods, it explains all that, why they keep coming back and why they die. And, you know, it kind of makes sense. Ash was just a smart-ass, cool character, was a nerd, kind of was just trying to get married at the time, and then look what happened. He ended up fighting the Evil Dead, and he comes becoming kind of a smart-ass scumbag, kind of hits on women all the time, and you know, has dirty jokes and that, you know, back then, and just a chainsaw on the hand, shotgun, kick ass. That's great. Joker, same thing, chaos with. And I get why people like that, because they get an attraction to it. One, the character looks awesome. They make him look like the whole dark character thing on all these characters I was talking about. And I probably missed a couple, but these are in general the most popular. Like, I forgot the Emperor from Star Wars. But you know what? People like him, but not. You know, he's kind of just like there. Kind of. People more get into Vader and Darth Maul because they were just different. They were just something different, and Emperor's like, it's cool. He's, you know, he's got the lightning comes out of his hand, and he's evil as fuck, and he's strong as fuck. He's like Yoda strong. And I actually like Yoda, guys. That's what's crazy. I love Yoda. I think Yoda's great. That's like one of my favorite heroes. Like, because Yoda's great. But I like that darkness. Like, I also like the movie Nightbreed. I know they made the comic book after it. I wish they would make more movies, but it was a Cali Blocker movie. It was about monsters that weren't really bad, but they weren't good, but they didn't mess with people. But again, guy got in, kind of looked like the Crow, but Scarecrow from Batman, but he had the mask and he was crazy and he wanted to become one of these monsters, and that's what he found it. So, you guys ever see that movie? Check it out. You can, but the psychology James is going to get into, because that's more of his thing. But I think a lot of women and men want to be that. And I think that's why they get so drawn into it, and the characters become like them. There's some people who actually change their names, like, you know, like Darth Vader and the Joker, who really want to be these characters. They fall in love, and sometimes it can be dangerous because they actually think they're the character, and they go out and do dumb stuff because it's happened. I think reality repeats itself and becomes a reality. Things come reality. People became that one guy thought he was a Joker. You look what happened in the movie there. He shot and killed people back in Aurora. And that's what he thought. And he's an idiot. But these characters are very powerful. I've met people who thought they were vampires, just like the whole vampire Lestat, Lost Boys, Dracula. People love those characters. That's another character I wanted to talk about, Dracula. And people love those characters. They love this, especially women, the sensual kind of like can get you to do whatever he wants, or she. It could be men too, because they did it to men too, especially in Interview Vampires. Vampires don't care if you're a woman, man, whatever you are. They're going to kill you if they want the blood, you know, get your blood. And that's what the mystique is. And they're immortal, and they come out at night, and they're white and have the fangs, and just, it's sexual. That's where I think that comes in. That's a big thing. I think that's with a lot of these characters. They're very sensual, but very just crazy. And people love them. People get a kick out of it because it's something, especially horror movies, I think, and stuff like that, vigilante and stuff like that, and they're very violent. I think it's something we need to, people need to see so they don't end up doing it. At least we see them doing it. It's not real. Instead of somebody else doing it in real. And that gets it off your chest. 90% of people, 95%, but there's some people who just don't get reality. And there's nothing you can do about that. And they fall in love with these characters because they either have poor morals, life was really bad, rough life, no family members, no mom and dad, responsibilities. Something crazy happened in their life, family member died, family wife or something, and just went off the rails and thought they were going to be some kind of outlaw. And that happens, guys, a lot. That's a reality right there. And go out and do some of this stuff. That's the whole biker thing too. The whole biker thing. I love that lifestyle. I'm very attracted to that lifestyle. I love bikers, man. That's a crazy lifestyle, and it's a good. If you're right, I'm talking about the 1% kind of outlaws, kind of cool. I like it, but it's just that I have that. I don't like to be told what to do. Neither does James. We're just like that, and that's just how we are. Look at me. I'm different than anything people know. I'm very different. I'm absolutely different. James is very different, and that's why it works. But I'm very different in a lot of ways. I'm unique, and there's not too many people like me and have the mind I have. Neither do like James. He's very different. You're unique. He has a very different way of thinking, and I get it. Some of what he thinks. Some things I don't. It's just like with me, same thing. It's a controlled chaos. And I'm chaos, and he's the law, but whatever means necessary. Like, that's just the way I am too. That's just how we are, if you get that. But I think people like these characters because of that. They get a feel of satisfaction of what they really want to be. I think some of these people really want to be like this. Vampires, who wouldn't? Werewolves, that's another one. Werewolves are very popular. People like werewolves. Frankenstein, I think a lot of people like that. And it's not because it was just the beauty of how he was built. And he ended up becoming not bad because the real monster was the doctor because he made it. And Igor because he messed up the brain, got the wrong brain. But Frankenstein learned to just want to stay away from people. He hated humans. Do we blame him? Look at the stuff we do. He's kind of got a fucking point. We're kind of assholes to each other. So, I get it. I think a lot of people fall in love with the characters. The music, cool. Like, have you ever seen The Crow? The soundtrack's fucking great. Another one. The Labyrinth. David Bowie. I love the movie, but if people realize he was the Goblin King, he was like 5,000 years old, and he would take children and turn them into goblins. If they, just like the movie. But one of the problems was he was trying to hit on, like, he was in love with a 16-year-old girl, 15. I think she was 15 or 16. I don't remember. And that's kind of, I love the movie, but if you get that point, that's probably the only part that's not cool. But other than that, the Goblin King, he took children and turned them into goblins and made them live there forever. Just like he said, it's forever, not long at all. It is. It's never going back. And I get it. That I'm just throwing that movie in there. That's another one. But I know why people like it, though, because he's dressed up in a certain way. And he has this appeal to him. A lot of, especially women, like him. David Bowie altogether. Women like him and men, But I like his music, and I like the movie. A couple of it. He's my other movies. The vampire one was cool. But David Bowie was brilliant. And a lot of movies he made were brilliant. There's other characters I'm probably not thinking of because I'm just, I'm getting this done. Kratos, from God of War was originally bad. I don't know if he was really, but just killed people. But then he got betrayed and he went out fucking any means necessary. But he was a crazy ass dude. Liked him. That's another one, people, but I think people like him because he's just fucking crazy and kills people in fucked up ways. So, but I think that's why people, and especially girls, I think a lot of girls like that. They like that dangerment. Men too. That in danger, something could go bad at any time. A little bit of danger is something better than normal. And that's what happens. Some people don't like having a normal, boring life. Some people want chaos. Some people want it till they really see it. And then that's my... And that's the problem. 90% of people, when they see it, can't handle it and want to go back to normal. There's that 5% that love it. Love chaos. Love it. I'm a dark character in some ways. And I know you guys know, and James is kind of like a vigilante. But I know I'm a very dark person. I know some of you guys see that. But it's controlled chaos. But other than that, I try to get along with everybody in their beliefs. And religions and everything. And try to be a good person. That's all you can do. But that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I love you guys. And there you go, James.
Okay, so why do people like the bad guy, basically, in horror movies, TV, stuff like that? Why do they always root for the evil characters? The answer to that is actually many, many different answers. First, we will discuss why people like horror movies in general. The psychology behind that is that horror movies give people the opportunity to be scared and at the same time to be safe. So when you get scared, you have an adrenaline rush. You got that fight or flight that kicks in, and you're all amped up and you're ready to go. And then when you survive it, you get this massive dopamine spike in your brain. So it's a rush. It really makes you feel good at the end of it. Horror movies are a way to experience that in a completely safe environment where you know that you're not actually doing whatever it is you're watching on the screen. So you can experience it mentally without having to physically experience it. So you're safe. So that's why people enjoy horror movies so much, is for that rush, that feeling of fear that they can get in a safe space. So that answers one of the questions. Another question is, old boy brought up women liking the monsters, like Michael Myers. The answer to that is actually quite interesting as well. Genetically, women are programmed to seek out the best possible mate so that the best possible genes can be passed on so that their child will have the best possible chance in life. So in the bad boys, women see strength and they see confidence. So that is very attractive. The idea that that person is strong and confident and able to do whatever they want to do without any kind of repercussions. Genetically, that means that their offspring will have more strength, more bravery, more confidence, more of an opportunity to survive in the world. Now, with that, you also have the opportunity for that offspring to be born a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Because the majority of these bad guys have a screw loose, at least in the movies. And in reality, when a woman is attracted to bad boys, which many of them are, most times they end up with the same kind of person. And that's somebody that's gonna run around and cheat on you, is gonna beat the hell out of you, and it's not gonna be very dependable. So it's kind of a weird little catch-22 that women put themselves in because they are attracted to the bad boy. They want the tough guy, the bad boy. But what's best for them, would actually be the good guy, because the good guy is going to actually take care of them and take care of their children. And they're going to make sure that they have a roof over their head, and they're going to be there when they're sick. They're going to be the one that will actually be better for that woman in the long run. But unfortunately, it takes most women quite a long time to kind of get over that bad boy phase of their life. Now, every once in a while, you get somebody who comes along that's a bad boy and an honorable guy. But that's not something that happens very often. Usually, with the bad boy comes all the other bad things. You can't expect that you're going to be with a bad guy and somehow he's not going to be a bad guy to you. He's always going to be a bad guy. And that's why you have so many women that end up in these bad situations where they get the hell stomped out of them. And the guys run around on them and he leaves them high and dry. That happens because they choose very poorly and they choose the bad boys. And the Michael Myers thing always kind of made me laugh. It always tripped me out because you have all these women that just go gaga over this character. And when you actually stop and think about it, in reality, if that was a real person and he was that messed up, I mean, he has like zero interest in sex, zero interest in women in any kind of romantic way. All he wants to do is kill people. And a lot of the people he kills are women. So in all reality, what would happen is you wouldn't somehow magically make him fall in love with you. He would just stick you to the wall with his butcher knife. That's what would happen. But somehow these women are deluded in their brain and they think that would be, oh, he's so sexy, that would be the guy for me. You're an idiot. There's no chance, man. That dude would kill you. It's so dumb. I just don't honestly understand it. But that answers that question of why women are attracted to the bad boy. So then the other point I want to talk about is what Old Boy brought up of some people see themselves as that character and they root for that character because they think that somehow they could be that character. That's a very dangerous delusion to have. We've seen it many times in the past where people watch this stuff and they get it in their head that they're going to be that character and they go out and they do horrible things. Old Boy brought up an example of that earlier. I think that stems from people not having very good lives. There's a lot of people that don't have the proper family to bring them up. They don't have a mother and a father in the home that can actually be there for them and take care of them the way they're supposed to be taken care of and teach them the way they're supposed to be taught. Even the best of scenarios, even if you have two loving parents at home, most times both parents have to work because our economy is so screwed, and it has been for our entire lives, to where it's not like it used to be in our grandfather's time when the man could go to work, make a living, and the woman could stay home with children and raise them. It was a much better life then than it is now. Now you have the mother and the father both going to work just to try to barely scrape by. And the kids are kind of left to fend for themselves, really. I mean, yes, they have babysitters. Yes, they have school. Yes, they have the TV. But when you look at a babysitter, all a babysitter is usually is a teenager. They don't know anything. They're not experienced in life or anything like that. So all you're getting with that is another immature person that's not going to be able to teach your kids anything useful. And then you got school. Well, school is an indoctrination camp, man. That's where they send your kids to learn all kinds of stuff that you don't want them to learn. It's not like it used to be where they're actually trying to teach these children something useful. They spend their time filling them full of woke garbage that is not going to serve them at all and worrying about their damn self-esteem and their feelings all the time. Then they get out in the real world and they realize nobody gives a damn about their feelings. They're not prepared when they get out there. So you can't rely on the school to teach your child how to be a functioning adult. It's not their job. They try to make it their job now to teach them stuff, but all they're doing is indoctrinating them with crap. So you can't count on that. the TV, you can't count on that either, because no matter what you watch anymore, if you're watching new programming, almost all of it is woke garbage. Almost all of it is indoctrinating your children just like they're doing at school. So it's very difficult. It's a literal minefield that you have to try to navigate in order to keep your children away from all the nonsense that's being spouted at them constantly, all the time now. And it's awful. And then if you try to stand up and do anything about it, they label you as the T word, which I'm not going to say on YouTube because then they'll cut the channel again. And I don't want that. But it's a messed up situation. And that kind of leads me to a broader point of why people root for the bad guy in general. And I think that's because our society has changed. You know, in the old days, whether it was movies or TV or wrestling or whatever, you had a clear-cut good guy, you had a clear-cut bad guy. Everybody rooted for the good guy, and you wanted to see the bad guy get his. I mean, that's what the entire wrestling business was based on, a baby face and a heel. The heel's going to do heel things, make everybody mad. The baby face comes in, kicks his butt, saves the day, everybody cheers, right? That was the formula. And that's the way it used to be in our society. But now there's so much evil that is pervasive in our society. People are being taught that good is bad, and they're being taught that evil is good. And it's sickening, and it's why those lines have been blurred. That's why you have people that identify with the bad guy now instead of the good guy. And they cheer for the bad guy instead of cheering for the good guy, because everything's all topsy-turvy. Most people today have been, I don't know if I want to say brainwashed. That's kind of a hard way to say it. But they have been brainwashed. I mean, they've been indoctrinated to believe things that aren't true. And it's sad because not many people anymore do their own research and learn anything for themselves. I mean, the sad reality is that the majority of people are pretty damn dumb, you know, and that sucks to say, and I don't mean any offense by it. It's just the truth that most people are pretty stupid. One, because their brain is saturated in chemicals. Since the time they're born, they've got fluoride in their water. They're just constantly bombarded in everything they eat and drink with all these chemicals that are just making them dumb. And then, on top of that, they're not being taught anything. You don't have parents at home that are actually there because they're working their butt off to try to make a living. The schools are indoctrinating them, like I said before. They're not teaching them how to think. They're not teaching them critical thinking. They're just saying you either believe this nonsense that we're saying or you're in trouble. And that's basically it. So from the time they're born, they're raised that way now, to where they're just fed crap instead of truth. And they don't learn anything. And they're just dumb. They just don't know anything. And it's sad, sad, sad to see. But it's the truth. So when you have people that are taught that all these evil things are good, okay, and then you have the people that write the shows and the movies who are writing the bad guys in a positive light. They're making the bad guy the main character of the story instead of making the good guy the main character. In the old days, the good guy was the main character. The bad guy was the villain. And the whole book or movie or TV show would be about the good guy overcoming the bad guy. But now it's more just about the bad guy. It's about how many kills he gets, you know? And if one person manages to survive till the end, it's never a hero that comes in and saves the day and takes the thing out. It's usually some helpless woman who just manages to survive because she gets lucky, you know? And they always make them trip and fall down. It's silly. Every single one of these movies are running and they trip and they fall, and the killer almost always is just walking after them. It's kind of formulaic and childish, really. You know, I enjoy watching the movies just like everybody else does because I enjoy that dopamine spike and that adrenaline rush just like everybody else. But it's, as far as good storytelling and good lessons to be taught, it's kind of garbage, you know. But It is what it is. But that's why people root for the bad guy now, is because their whole vision of right and wrong is flipped upside down. And that is a direct result of trying to take God out of everything. This is not something that happened by accident. It's not society just evolving this way. This was intentionally done. This was a planned out assault on the morality of America in order to weaken us, in order to make us easier to conquer. And unfortunately, you see the results today. I mean, just imagine if another country came here. Imagine if China or something like that invaded us. What would we do? I mean, yeah, you got some people like me that could still put up a fight. But what about the younger generation? What about the people that are actual military age? They don't even know whether they're boys or girls anymore. They're all out of their damn minds, and they're so weak. I mean, first thing that would happen when they invade, they'd have to go to their safe space. They'd be yelling from the closet, "That's a microaggression." They're a bunch of pussies. We've made masculinity toxic. That's what they label it as, toxic masculinity. So what you're doing is you're taking a whole generation of men who are supposed to be the protectors, supposed to be the badasses that protect the country and protect all of us, and you're turning them into wimps. So they're not going to be able to protect anybody. I mean, yeah, you got people like me still around. And I will do my best to whoop as much ass as I can possibly whoop. But I'm an old man. I'm 50 years old, man. I can't go like I used to go. There's no way I can fight a whole army. It's just not going to happen. You do got some of us rednecks around, but will it be enough? And how many people gotta suffer before we can get it under control? It ain't right. And if you look at those other countries, China's a great example. They're not teaching their kids this. Do you know that TikTok over here is filled with garbage? It's filled with all this trans stuff and all these stupid challenges and all this nonsense that makes everybody weak. And then if you look at the TikTok over in China, what do? They don't have any of that garbage on their TikTok. It's dedicated to making men masculine and macho. It's dedicated to education. It's dedicated to making people better. Who's going to win that fight, you think? Most of us would say, America will whoop its ass. Used to be that way. But is it still that way? I mean, you got guys in the military, high ranking, all them medals and shit on their chest, wearing dresses. What the hell's going on? If you were the enemy, would you be afraid of some dude in a dress, wearing makeup, come running down in his high heels? Nah. That don't scare nobody. It's a joke. It's a damn joke. That's a problem, So as far as all the stuff that old boy talked about, why the psychology behind it, that is the psychology behind it. And it was all done intentionally. The reason why everything's all upside down and backwards is because they want it that way. They did it on purpose to make you weak. And too many people have bought into the nonsense. They just believe what they're told. Nobody ever stops and thinks about it. And when you try to bring stuff up, you try to show them facts and evidence, you say, look, they don't want to hear it because that's not what they've been told. For some people, the bad guys are just more interesting. And that's another direct result of the writing. They're written that way on purpose. Look at the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. Old boy talked about those. That is a character you should absolutely hate. Freddy Krueger was not only a child killer, he was a pedophile. He was the kind of person that you want to grab and throw into a wood chipper. Okay? You should hate that dude. He should be the most vile piece of crap on the planet. But instead, because he's written to have funny lines, people love him. Think about that for a minute. Think about Michael Myers, the favorite of the ladies. This dude is trying to kill his little baby sister. That's what the whole thing's about. He kills all these people. He's just trying to kill his baby sister. That's his goal. How screwed up is that? Why do people cheer for that? You should hate that character. You should be like, man, that dude's an asshole. Every time he shows up, he kills everybody, no matter what. Not like those people deserve it. It's not like they're bad guys. I can almost understand somebody like the Punisher. I mean, his whole family was murdered. So he went after the people that killed his family. I get that. Hell, I would do that. If you killed my wife, you killed my family, I would kill everybody you ever knew. Period. I can understand that. Michael Myers, nobody hurt him. He's just an asshole. He's just a crazy asshole. But everybody loves him and cheers him. Look at Chucky. There's another one. Here's an evil serial killer who does some kind of voodoo magic and puts himself in a doll and goes around killing people. That's screwed up. Why do we love that character? That character should be hated. You can go down the line, any of these characters. They're all despicable. We shouldn't cheer for them. Now, people will say, well, James, it's make-believe, man. It's just fiction. That's all. Ain't no reason to get all worked up about it. It's just fiction. But it's the point of the thing. It's what that person stands for. It's what that person is. What is that character? I mean, you're cheering for a pedophile when you're cheering for Freddy Krueger. I don't know why that surprises me, honestly, with the way that the country is now. Hell, our president is a kid sniffer. And everybody was perfectly fine with that. Everybody knew he was. It's on video, man. How many times have you seen that dude on the internet sniffing kids like they're a damn rose? Groping everybody. He's a freaking little nasty dude, man. He's a pervert. No problem. No problem. So I don't know why I'm surprised that people would cheer that. Every single one of these characters sucks. Every single one of them are despicable people. But we cheer them. So here's the question I have, the reason I bring all that up. Not to try to make you feel bad. That's not my intention. My intention is, let's think about this for a second. Why? Why is that? Isn't that an interesting phenomenon? In real life, if Freddy Krueger was a real person, really was a pedophile and child killer, what happened in the movie would have probably actually happened in real life. The parents surrounded him, set fire to the building he burned alive in. Okay? That probably would actually happen in real life. That's the actual response that kind of person would get in real life. So how come because it's a movie, do we not care? Is it because they only barely mention that part? And the rest of the time he's wisecracking and making funny jokes? Is that why people don't give a damn about it? Is it because they have such a short attention span that they've already forgotten that he's this despicable pedophile and child killer? And they're like, oh, yeah, they said that in the beginning, but it's just a little bit of the movie. The rest of the movie was funny as hell. He's great. That's interesting, isn't it? How you just let that go like it's nothing. Even if it is just a fictional character. Still doesn't feel right inside to be cheering for it, does it? It's kind of a strange thing. I don't know. Anyway, that's my 2 cents on it. I'm going to throw it back over to old boy, get his final sum up and all that, then I'll be back to wrap up. So, old boy, go ahead, brother.
Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. I did. Remember, always check us out every Sunday nights at 12 a.m. Eastern, 9 Pacific. Best of show, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific. Sorry, I always get those ones mixed up. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. It was a little bit different, something new. We all had to kind of do something different here and there. We got to make the show a little bit better, you know what I mean. But I hope you guys had a good weekend last week. The month's almost over. A day or two, it's going to be March. So I hope you guys are getting warmer wherever you're at. Here in California, it's supposed to get colder again. That's crazy. But you guys want to check us out on YouTube, James Hershey's page, subscribe. You guys want hats, merchandise and all that stuff, he'll tell you where to go and what you can get, hats, shirts, all kinds of cool stuff. You guys want to check us out on Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, all those cool places. So remember that. That being said, I hope you have a good night, and blessed be, miss it, sugar ladies and monster lovers, and I fucking love you.
Thank you, brother. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. It was a weird one. Kind of went all kinds of weird places, didn't it? I don't know. Hope you guys enjoyed it. It's always fun when it's Old Boys Week because I never know what the hell he's gonna talk about till usually he talks about it really. Every once in a while he'll kind of discuss it with me ahead of time and say, "You think this would be a good idea?" But I still don't know really what the layout of the show is going to be. I mean, on my week it's different because I kind of know what I'm doing, so I can prepare for it and I have everything laid out the way I want to lay it out. On Old Boys Week, it's kind of just one of those deals where I listen to what he has to say and then I talk about it a little bit. So, hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope that you understand a little bit more about the psychology, at least, of why people like these movies and maybe some of the root causes. I don't know. I enjoyed it. It was fun. As always, up to you. Make up your own mind. We'll catch you on the next one. Till we speak to you again. Love many, trust few, and do harm to none. God loves you, and so do we. Bye-bye.